So Marko, welcome today.
Hi, Mike.
Android is a really fast-moving area in our book sales. So why is it so fast, and why is there such a gold rush for everyone to start learning how to program with Android?
So basically, Android is now the biggest platform for mobile in the United States. So that's a really big reason for developers to be interested in the first place to develop for that platform, because it gives them a lot of customer base. So that's what's going on. At the same time, mobile is exploding, as I'm sure you're familiar with. Yep. So that's the new sort of internet. That's what was internet 5-10 years ago. That's what mobile is going through right now. Explosive growth. New devices are coming to the market, so new capabilities. People can solve more real-world problems on these devices, and Android happens to be one of the main platforms for developing that. So developers are quite keen to see what's possible.
Okay, so developers. So what kind of developers? Who is the typical developer wanting to learn Android now?
That's a good point, and they're kind of like two different camps. You sort of have people who are developing the apps, and you sort of have the people who are developing the platforms. Those are two different groups. So the app developers are guys and gals who know Java, who are leveraging the Java skills, and that happens to be a very large populace, and they're basically jumping onto the bandwagon and developing various applications, the little apps that you can download from the market. So they're developing those. On the flip side of the coin, you have sort of the embedded development community, C++ developers, who are seeing this as a flavor of Linux that they can take as a fairly complete product and put it in all sorts of different, other devices. Anything from cars to set-top boxes to microwaves and photocopiers, picture frames and such. So they're taking the platform and moving into the different directions.
So Marko, you mentioned there's a lot of different devices and a lot of different developers coming to this. Who is the actual development community? Where are they coming from, and what are their typical skills, and why are they learning Android now?
Got it. So basically there are two sorts of ways to develop for Android. On one hand, you can develop Android applications. Those are the little things that you download from the market and run on a phone. And that sort of group of people is Java developers, because most of that development today is done in Java. So that's very good, because there are a lot of people out there who know Java. Pretty much every university is teaching classes on Java nowadays. There's also a second group of people which is basically developing for the platform. In other words, taking Android to other devices, maybe non-conventional phone devices such as Android in cars or picture frames or microwaves, photocopiers, other devices like that. And that group tends to be more of a C++ sort of native developers, Linux developers, and so forth. They're sort of hacking the system, taking it to places that we may not have ever anticipated.
So I've also heard that there's new features in Honeycomb, such as fragments and rich notifications. They're going to make writing to multiple devices, I guess, prettier. Is that a fair thing to say, or easier, or things are going to look more consistent across the devices? Is that something that's happening?
Yes. So tablets are exploding. The tablets is where it's at right now. It's a whole new ball game, and a tablet is not just a larger phone. There are a lot of different things that go into a tablet. We use it differently. We hold it at a different distance from us. We interact with it differently. And that changes the way the apps need to be architected as well. So Honeycomb was a pretty radical sort of change to the user interface when it comes to Android. And it brought some new innovations in terms of how to develop for tablets. So fragments is one example of that. The action bar is another example. So we're now seeing, hey, we can actually do a real windowing on this device. It's not just a bigger app or a bigger phone. It's an actual, new device altogether. And so certain components of Honeycomb complement that.
So now I also heard that Honeycomb is going to be backwardly compatible down to 1.6. So as a developer, would you recommend that you have a source for your tablet and a source for your device? How would you handle the differences there? Is it one source that you fork, or multiple sources that you're going to run?
So that's a great question. The best practice would be to have one source and target, you would shoot for the latest, greatest. knowing that that's a very small percentage of the actual population. So you would target the latest greatest device, but then your app would intelligently scale down its feature set. So in other words, I would write for Honeycomb, but if the app is deployed on, say Gingerbread, it would know how to scale down its feature set, disabling certain buttons, disabling certain features, and so forth. So it would work well on older devices as well, because the reality is that, it takes a couple of years for people to actually adopt the latest greatest, given, our 2-year contracts with mobile carriers and so forth. So there's a sort of a very wide array of adoption out there. And, as an app developer, you got to worry about that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marko.
Thanks, Mike.
And we'll be hearing more from you.